Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and today we're going to be reading Overweight People of Reddit. What are some things you have to deal with every day because of your weight? Stick around until the end of the video to see our featured Narwhals of the day, and be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more weight loss videos that help you stay on track. Finding clothes that fit without looking ridiculous is difficult and expensive. Belts wear out frequently, sitting in many restaurants is uncomfortable due to size of seating or table position, outside seating is usually worse, turnstiles are a trap, and parking in a compact spot is a good way to waste your time waiting for the other cars to leave before you can. Pretty much just a list of first world problems for me. Before I type out my list, I will preface it by saying that it's my fault that I'm big. I know this. I'm working on it. It's harder than people think. I don't want you to feel sorry for me, but for frig's sake, I'm a person and deserve to be treated as such. Fat isn't a personality trait. Finding clothes I like in my size can be hard. Shopping for clothes is a very discouraging thing, and I often find myself embarrassed when I do it. I'm sure nobody gives a frig that I'm shopping for jeans, but there's always a feeling in my head that people are looking at me. Going out with friends to places I've never been is always a little risky, especially restaurants. If the table is bolted to the floor or the wall, I'm going to have a bad time. Speaking of friends, it gets frustrating at times looking around and realizing that none of your friends are big. I have unfortunately said, I wish I could be that size. In my head, I'm a guy. When I'm waiting for an elevator and the door opens and there are a bunch of people in there with room to spare, I will wait for another one. I know that me getting on it wouldn't hurt anything, but I can see the look on people's faces. Having to wear several layers of shirts sucks. I have a man chest, and people look at it as if they are looking at a woman's cleavage. It has been something I've dealt with since I was in high school, and it is the thing I hate most about myself. I wear a wife beater and an undershirt to keep things compact. I hardly even think about it at this point since I've been doing it for so long. Honestly, I'm big, but I'm not huge. The main problem I have is people always telling me I'm fat, but sugarcoating it. Just say it, goddammit. It's not like I'm going to sit on you. I have a couple bigger friends who will say things like, ugh, this dress makes me look even fatter, or I'm not going to be able to fit there, I'm a big girl. No one knows how to respond to statements like this. I'm not going to lie and say that they're skinny, but at the same time, I don't want to nod and say, yep, you're fat. Dealing with the constant stream of criticisms and remarks about my weight, I'm terrified to eat at home because of this. And being at work, I feel like I'm constantly being judged by the members and coworkers. I'm the only person who works there who is overweight. I'm 5'10", male, 250 pounds. I don't notice my weight's effect on my life much. Not because it's not affecting me, but I think I'm just used to it at this point. I started getting fat at a young age, 6 or 7, and I'm now 21 and in college. It has affected my confidence. I used to get made fun of for it, mainly from elementary to middle school, but not excessively so. I'm a guy, so even though society frowns upon my obesity, it's not nearly as bad for me as it is for a woman, so that's probably a factor. I decided to lose weight in late May of 2012 after a visit to a new doctor. He just made weight loss seem so possible to me, whereas before, people, doctors included, made me feel pretty crappy about it, like it was this unattainable thing. I've lost 50 pounds so far, so I was pushing 300 in May, and I'm still going. I pretty much just eat less. I imagine once I get down to a healthier weight, I'll have a better frame of reference for this question, but as of now, all I've ever known is fatness, so I don't think that much about it beyond its effects on my confidence. I'll just say that I wouldn't have started losing weight if my doctor had made me feel crappy about my fatness. Reddit, society in general, really has this thing about making fat people feel crappy for being fat, this tough love approach to weight loss. In my experience, it doesn't work. People know when they're fat and don't need you to tell them, or your encouragement. Leave that to family, friends, and doctors. The worst had to be when I waited in line for almost 2 hours for a roller coaster, and then had to get off and exit in front of a huge crowd because the restraint wouldn't come down over me. I'm 6'4", 290 pounds. The walk of shame, while I left my wife to ride alone, was very embarrassing. I'm not obese, but I am overweight, and I'm working on getting healthier. However, the hardest thing for me is the lack of opportunities to show your inner self. You know how they say that first impressions are lasting impressions? Well, because of my weight, other people tend to develop that first impression of me before I even have a chance to speak. It is hard to make friends, which is why I don't have that many, when people judge you before they even get to know you. That for me is the hardest part. I want people to get to know the true me. Unfortunately, all they see is the outside and then look away. I can't believe I haven't read this yet, but for me, the worst part of being overweight is mechs. When I was half the size I am now, mechs was easier, more fun, and I could go longer. It's crazy how being obese can limit your mexual positions. Even if you're flexible, there's only so far you can go with fat in the way. My husband and I both gained a lot, 100 pounds each, throughout a relationship. There is a double-edged sword, so to speak, for women. As an adult woman, I have been both overweight, US size 16, and normal weight, size 6. When I am fit, I get a lot of male attention. The constant evaluation, checking out, the long stare at chest and butt, the catching of eyes as cars go past, and men are looking at you in the rearview mirror. It is unnerving and uncomfortable. I feel like a constant target. When I was fat, I was invisible. Not heavy enough to be an object of ridicule, just big enough that men didn't even see me. It was nice to not feel the constant sense of mexual evaluation, but at the same time I was profoundly uneasy in my own too big skin. Clothes is the issue for me. I carry my weight around my stomach and hips, but I have no bum. Pants that fit me through the hips are stovepipes on my relatively skinny legs and keep sliding off my butt. And forget dresses. If I can find one that fits my chest and hips, it falls off my shoulders. Fat people clothes are ugly. This would be my only major motivating factor for losing weight, so that clothes shopping wasn't such an ordeal. Finding flattering, attractive clothes is tricky, but not too big of an issue. Ignoring hurtful, though sometimes well-meant little remarks from friends, family members, total freaking strangers is harder, but also manageable. Personally, the fact that the man I've been in love with for the better part of a decade will most likely keep me friend-zoned forever is the real problem and heartbreaker. I'm overweight, but I'm not obese. All the same, I'm still affected by it. Firstly, I have bodily aches and pains. For example, I recently got bursitis of the knee. Although I understand this isn't just an overweight person's ailment exclusively, mine didn't occur until I was at my peak in terms of body weight. Secondly, acid reflux. All the crappy foods I've eaten for years caused acid reflux, which has caused what's called a stricture in my esophagus, and now I have to take heartburn medication. Thirdly, high blood pressure. I'm 26 with high blood pressure. But the biggest issue I have to deal with every day that's caused by me being fat is crapping. When you're fat, crapping and wiping is a friggin' ordeal. There was a point around the age of 22 or 23 when I started to get really fat that wiping went from a minute-long 3 or 4 swipe thing to a goddamn 5 to 10 minute process. It turned into a toilet paper bonanza requiring Olympian wrist maneuvers and serious focus. Here's a typical crapping experience. I'll take a tremendously fat dump and then I'll get to cleaning up shop. I'll wipe for a good 3 or 4 minutes and then I'll do a status check. It's like I haven't even friggin' started. There's still crap on the toilet paper, and the weirdest part of it is that the crap's on places on the toilet paper that don't make any sense. I'll center the square of toilet paper up, wipe, and then check, and it will be on the lower right hand corner of the thing, which means that my crap somehow managed to creep up my bum. How is that even possible? Half a roll of toilet paper later, I'll finally be cleaned up. I'll flush, and then I'll clog the goddamn toilet. Do you have any idea how much it sucks to regularly clog toilets? By the time I get the toilet unclogged, I'll feel a little sliminess on my bum and realize that I didn't get it all, and I'll have to sit back down for a second round. I remember when I was little, I would go into public toilets, and every now and then I would see a toilet that was jam-packed with crap and toilet paper. It looked like 10 people took craps, wiped, and didn't even bother to flush. In my little head, I would be like, how the frig does anyone crap that much? I didn't even know what frig meant back then, but I would think that specific sentence. Well, now I know how people crap that much. I've turned into the guy who craps that much. As someone who has always struggled with weight, the hardest thing I've had to deal with is probably the hypocrisy you face on a daily basis. I go to the gym and jog 3 times a week because I do want to be healthy, but still get strangers and bumholes mocking me for my size. Like, frig off, I'm doing this for myself, but it's still extremely difficult to motivate myself to face that every day. Poking fun at an overweight person in a gym is the ultimate demonstration in picking on someone to make yourself feel better. Ignore those idiots, as they obviously haven't matured past 3rd grade. And that brings us to the featured narwhals of the day. If you'd like to be a featured narwhal, head on over to r/loseitnarwhals. Link is in the description below. Our first featured narwhal is Cabbage Soup, and they say, "I'm not done yet, but I'm proud of my progress. Your videos are a huge inspiration." Our next featured narwhal of the day is Salmuchus 3, and they say, "My 5-year journey." And our last featured narwhal of the day is Ashamed Tomatilo, and they say, "100 pounds gone, morbidly obese to ultra marathoner." Finally, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for more weight loss videos that help you stay on track. Also, sign up to become a VIP narwhal. You'll get 3 benefits, including access to our narwhal merch giveaway coming soon. Sign up at lukenarwhal.com. Link is in the description below. Thank you for watching, narwhals, and I'll see you in the next one.